Good evening, everybody. Thank you for your patience. I would like to pass this to Trustee Leah before we begin. Thank you. Or to begin.
Good evening. I'd like to acknowledge that today we sit on the territory of the Sipsian speaking people, where we all have so much love. And I got to see that in the last little bit, knowing that I get to travel to different territories, but I love coming home to my territory because it's a warming. The people are warm, friendly. We have great people who share with us fish, berries, preservatives. And so I'm pretty grateful to live on this territory. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. I would like to May 19th meeting, adoption of the agenda. Trustee Dalton, seconder. Trustee Sanchez, all in favor? Wonderful. So moved. Thank you. I would now like to pass this to Superintendent Sefcoil for our wonderful presentation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Tonight we are pleased to have Chef Nadia Hallward with us to talk about food programs that she is administering. Nadia, would you please?
Where do you start next?
Wherever you like.
Anywhere.
Yep, they'll find you. They move
He
around.
can't, I can't see, he's gotta come a little closer.
And I'm in here,
Oh
so
my
come
God.
even
You need to
closer.
stand right in front of those two viewers. And then do I give you the signal to move forward?
So yeah, thank you for having me. I'm here to just talk about our school food programs a bit and a few things that are happening in the district. So yeah, thanks again for having me here tonight. So school food programs, there's a couple nice pictures from our gardens at Conrad here that are burgeoning and blossoming with lots of new growth. And then a picture of some locally caught sockeye salmon that we managed to purchase this year from Arrow Trading. And we've been integrating into the school meal programs and also into special events for schools.
A great picture, Conrad.
It's beautiful. Yeah. So I just wanted to kind of snapshot the lunch program growth that has happened over the past few years. So that's since the beginning of the Feeding Futures program. So of course we've had lunch program for many, many, many years, but it's gone through a lot of changes and developments over the past few years. So when I started tracking, we were doing about 330 lunches daily. Currently, we're at, including Port Ed, we're at about 515 every day.
Wow.
So that is quite a large increase in numbers, and I do anticipate that to keep growing. Why are we seeing this increase? I think there's a few reasons. The increased need with rising food costs and living costs in general. There's more diversity in the lunch program, so more diverse and nutritious lunches on the menu, which is also encouraging more people to adopt the lunch program, which in turn reduces the stigma associated with the lunch program. So it's a little bit more appealing to everybody. And then I think there's more awareness about the lunch program in general, lots of just talk about it now between staff, between parents, between kids. And the focus on integrating local products, I think, has helped as well. So that just creates a lot of points of discussion among people. So I do anticipate we'll see that continue to rise. Just wanted to talk a little bit about our local procurement initiatives. So as part of Feeding Futures, one of the guiding principles is to try and shoot for a target of 30% of our food is spent on locally purchased or produced or processed food. So that can be apples grown in BC, it can be salmon, it can be pickles that are made in BC. It can also be carrots that are chopped within a facility in BC. So we are always working towards that target. And some ways that we've been doing that in our district is sourcing salmon, of course, through Arrow Trading. Authentic Indigenous Seafood, which is a canning company on the island, and St. Jean's Cannery. We purchase bread weekly from Saltwater Bakery, about 72 loaves plus another 20 for our breakfast program. So that's really lovely to support a local business like that. We support Yaga with greens purchases every week, and we've been buying freeze-dried berries from a company or a farm in Vanderhoof, and then also a processing company in Vancouver. And other ways too, but those are the main ones. This is a little video that was made in collaboration with BBC.
Prince Rupert, which is on the north coast of our province, starting in Alaska. Our school food program serves 9 schools in the district. We have approximately 1,800 students and 420 which get the daily school meal. The meal program offers a wide variety of different foods, some cold sandwiches, and also some hot entree options as well. Prince Rupert has a very rainy climate. We have a short growing season, and that makes growing here quite challenging. Even with that being the case, we're really working hard to integrate as many local BC products as possible into our program.
My name is Nicole. I'm the manager of Saltwater Bakery in Prince Rupert, British Columbia. So we are a fully owned Indigenous business. It's a source of pride for everyone in the community. Knit Your Variety, Knit Your Songs, and everyone knows that it's owned by the Nation of Gigapla. We provide bread for the schools from September to the.
Oh, sorry, I thought I changed that setting. Sorry about that. It is a 6-minute long video. And it should have played the whole thing, but I apologize for that. The event, yeah.
I think it's very important to in a poster.
We're integrating,
Probably like
just reaching out to them. So part of our program includes working on integrating more traditional and local foods into the school meal program. Across the district, there are a couple of existing ways that we're integrating traditional foods in schools. The first is with Christina Layton's programming at Charles Bay Secondary, which is centered around traditional processing techniques, and also with our curriculum specialist teachers who teach a program called the Seasonal Rounds.
As a curriculum specialist, I connect with teachers and students in their classrooms and help with implementing Indigenous ways or Indigenous content. And one of those ways is using the seasonal rounds. The seasonal rounds are a set of posters that were created. Each month is represented in a poster, and it shows what's harvested in that season and how it's processed. Right now we are in September, so it is the time for gathering berries.
Actually,
When we go into a classroom, we have a presentation, we include language, and then we talk about the different ways to harvest the foods and bring in food that they can feel, experience, taste. When we're talking about the foods that we're eating, we want to reconnect our children to the land. We want to reconnect to the trail, we want to reconnect to the river, we want to reconnect to the ocean, to have that relationship so that we put care into the relationship with Mother Earth. It's amazing that kids are getting to learn this and to see the connections that they're making. We're 65% Indigenous in our district, so being able to share that and them having that connection is great for the students.
one of the main goals in the district right now around traditional foods for the school meal program specifically is to work on integrating fresh local BC salmon caught in Prince Rupert from local harvesters into our school meal program.
But I think it's very important to have specifically our sockeye salmon in the school food program because it is one of the staple foods of the Jimsian people, and it is like one of the best superfoods you could eat.
In order to get a product like salmon into our school meal program, we've had to engage in some creative thinking. That includes working with our local harvesters to buy directly. So whether that be a processor or a company like Authentic Indigenous Seafood, And another aspect of that is to try and collaborate with other districts to do a larger purchase of salmon. So another key aspect of my role since I started has been to help expand and amplify our garden programs, and that involves, looking for additional support for the programs, reaching out to teachers who are the garden champions in the district and seeing how they can best be supported, and trying to create kind of a district-wide vision for the garden program.
If you get a pull on carrot, we're gonna grab close to the bottom and we're gonna go straight on.
I've always grown up in the garden myself. My dad has been a farmer for ages and he taught me a lot about gardening from home. We get to do lots and lots and lots of taste testing. You saw the kids picking today, every time they ask, can I eat this? Can I eat this? So getting them really excited about things really just kind of feeds that in my own soul and to say, yes, we're having the best time and we're actually being very self-sufficient. When you talk to kids, you ask them where the food comes from and they say the grocery store. Having an actual site for them to go to and say, this is how you get carrots, this is how you get corn, let's watch this stuff grow. Let's taste it, let's try it. And to be able to incorporate that in with the program that we do with the Indigenous programming through the seasonal rounds to say, like, these are things that are happening outside in the forest. And hey, we can also do these things in the garden.
Integrating these local products into the school meal program and championing food literacy in the district has been important to me because I can see the impact it has on the local food economy. Speaking with students who are enjoying the meals, they are trying new foods they've never tried before. They can see products that are around town in their school meals. And I'm really excited to continue the work we've been doing and keep offering local food to the students.
So it's a great little video.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it was really well done. We had a very professional film crew that made everyone feel really at ease and did a great job editing. There's another documentary that they came actually the same time as these folks to film about the Public Health Agency BC projects that we've been working on, one of which is the large greenhouse projects, and the other was the Salmon in Schools project. So that one, I think, is coming out maybe in October, and they're hoping to do like viewing, premiere here, yeah. Traps, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the other really exciting thing is of course the kitchen, the much anticipated kitchen. It is getting very, very close to completion. Things are inching their way. There's very few things to finish. So that kitchen will be able to change and enhance and grow the meals program that much more, especially with the integration of the garden produce into the school meals. We're gonna see a lot of exciting things in the next couple of years. So just a couple pictures of kitchen in progress, all the hotline and the new equipment, sinks, plumbing, and then a couple garden pictures as well to highlight the work that's been going on in there. Quick. So right now everything's being planted. The greenhouse coordinator who's hired through Eco Trust Canada is doing a lot of planting, which is beautiful, and we will be able to reap a lot of the harvest of that in the coming months. So lots of processing to come. And that's all. Thank you.
Questions? Please.
That was just wonderful. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Do I understand that Saltwater Bakery actually donates the bread?
They do not. Nope. We buy it from them every week to help support the local economy. And they give us a wholesale price on it, which is lovely.
That was my next question, because I've been there.
Yeah.
This stuff is absolutely fabulous.
It is. The kids
Yes.
love it. It's great. The breakfast program really enjoys it. And that'll just continue to blossom, I think. And with our relationship with Yaga, we actually buy their excess greens, and so they give us a pretty much half off. They sell it 4 cents a gram, we buy it at 2 cents, because we're buying things that would otherwise maybe go to waste.
That's great.
It's really good. Yeah.
My question is, I heard you say that you're buying your fish from Arrow Trading. Is there no local fisherman that's willing to donate the salmon to the program?
I think we are looking at ways to do that in the future. I've talked to a few who are willing. Part of the hiccup, is getting it off the boat into the school, and then we have to process it right away. So those are things I hope to work on in the next year, trying to figure that out.
Well, maybe with the new kitchen, you could buy some and it could be flash frozen and probably there you'd be able to,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Trustee Horn.
Thanks, Nadia. That was fantastic presentation, and video is also really good. I love that you use locally sourced food within your program. And also that you have the kids come watch the food grow and then harvest and taste. And that gives them the whole breadth of what's going on. So thank you very much for what you do.
Yes, thank you.
I want to also thank you so much. It was wonderful to, when all of the booths were happening in here and sharing that, the impact. I noted my kids have gone to school in the district and many years ago, and I noted the difference in the lunch in those photos compared to some of the lunches that used to come up. So huge kudos. And also just acknowledging, I really want to acknowledge the partners in community that are, they too have to make a living. And so for giving us wholesale prices and such, working in collaboration, and also them still being able to make a profit, hopefully. So thank you. And I know that you do so much work behind the scenes with grant writing, with making partnerships, with representing the district in the way that you do, and just very grateful for you. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Good
thank you.
job.
Thank you.
Any further
Thank you.
questions? Wonderful. Thank you so much. And it looks so green on the footage. Wonderful. Approval of minutes about the board meeting held on April 21st. Moved trustee Dalton, nope, trustee Beal, sorry, seconded trustee Dalton. All in favor? Great. Necessity of closed meeting and agenda wishes of the board. Trustee Beal,
Move 4.1 through 4.9.
seconder. Trustee Horn, all in favor? So moved. Thanks. Address to the board, 5.1 wishes, 5.1.1 wishes of the board. Please.
Send a motion to receive and file.
Wonderful. Seconder, trustee Horn, would you care to speak to that?
No, I mean, the response is kind of what I thought the response was gonna be. It's a little bit disappointing in areas, but I'm still glad the letter was written and, yeah.
Please, trustee
So
Red.
my concern is the Ministry of Education has always taken a backseat to vaping. Like, they've never been accountable for any real policies that would help each and every one of us when it comes to vaping. So I was very disappointed in the letter.
Thank you. Trustee Horn, did I see your hand?
No, you covered it for what I was gonna say. Thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah, I as well would like to share similar thoughts. How do you create a vape that tastes like watermelon and not think that it's going to be for kids or cherry or any of the things, or that you can do it in public and it smells like a scent as opposed to people knowing what's happening?
Just to follow up on that, so I went on that trip to Costa Rica. It's banned. All vapes are banned in all European countries and Caribbean countries. Mexico, if you get caught with a vape there's a huge fine. You could even go to jail. So, I mean, why is our country so lagging so far behind? You can go into any store, yeah, right, well, watermelon, cherry. What is that doing? That's encouraging these young people to pick it up and try it, right? So, yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Perhaps another letter needs to be written with more force. But right now, this is received and filed. Is the motion all in favor? So moved.
I just wanted to say gentle parenting.
Gentle parenting isn't buy your kid a big. Anyways, on we go to 5.1.2. Wishes of the board. Please, trustee Orn.
Yeah, receive and file.
Seconder? Trustee Meyer, did you care to speak to that?
Yes, please.
Please.
So of course, we've been promised a review and change to a funding model, but according to this reply, of course, it's gotten pushed back another how many years? So the same old story, even though we keep getting told we're doing something. So I think we just need to maintain the pressure in the future in the same way.
Wonderful, thank you. Please.
Yeah, I just wanted, again, it's extremely disappointing considering there was a funding model that was brought forward that would have given district like ours a lot more money. COVID hit, it went away, it was swept under the rug. We brought it up at AGMs. Nothing ever happens. It's just, it's so disappointing that they're not even looking at funding it differently now. It's not even that it's pushed back, they're not even looking. And I don't think an AGM motion could come forward for another year. But I think next year, the board of the day, we need to bring it forward again because this is.
Thank you. And I would also offer a board of the day, that government answers in a blanket way of, 1.2 billion has been put out across the province. Let's look at what that means per student and also what that means per district and where you have needs and equity of scale and right as opposed to just a blanket amount. Wonderful. There's a motion on the floor to receive and file. All in favor? So moved. Thank you. 5.1.3. Please.
The motion to receive and file.
Seconded. Wonderful. Did you care to speak to this? No.
I would.
Please.
I'm very happy that, that we received this response because it's, we're not gonna work in silos. It tells me this letter was warm and fuzzy. We're gonna work together, gonna pick a name together, and we're gonna rejoice together. So, everything he said in this letter is accurate. Like we have over 60% Indigenous students, so we have to recognize that and we have to respect that. And I hope that we all can come together and work on this naming of our new school in collaboration and respect. So I really appreciate the writing of this letter.
Thank you. And for transparency as well, I will share that the board came up with invites for who to the ad hoc naming committee. That is going out today for a doodle for the first meeting and that this isn't being made a silo. And I know that this board wants as much community input into possibility of names so that we have a plethora of choices. All in favor? So moved. Thank you. Wonderful. Copy to the board none. Superintendent of School reports, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I'd like to invite Director of Instruction Carla Rourke to update us on enrollment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Superintendent Semwang. If you would turn to page 14, you'll see the enrollment graph. And in April, we have 1,777 students in our district.
Please, Trustee Deal. 1777.
17, okay.
Yeah, I would like to reiterate my concerns about the falling, because we're seeing a huge decline and as I stated earlier to some of you, I went through the population enrollments in all districts and I could see that populations are declining. But we're not seeing people having children, we're seeing pockets of students moving throughout the province. And so that is very alarming. And it's alarming for our district when we're already seeing a deficit year after year and trying to be able to make our budget. So I don't think there's any quick answers to this, but I think that we need to pay more attention to keeping every student we have in the seat at school. How do we do that? I don't know, but and like I said, 1,777 students is a far cry from what we need to keep our budget healthy. Thank you.
Any further questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, 6.1.2, upcoming projects, learning and other. As always, a lot of things going on in our schools. French immersion and core French students around the district enjoyed the Eloise concert at the Leicester Center. Close. But no,
Some says
food.
Eloise, some say Eloise.
okay. She's touring the world. I looked her up on the internet. I wasn't able to make the concert, but definitely to great acclaim in both France and in other countries. And she is doing a tour. It's kind of French country. Would that be the best
Yes,
way to
it is.
describe? I listened to a couple of her songs today. That's why people were banging on my wall saying, turn it down. If you want to listen to some of her songs, they're on the internet. Check her out. They're good. Thanks to CPF for making this happen. I spoke with administration and they said that they really were instrumental in bringing her here for our students to enjoy.
It's very well attended.
Excellent. On entrepreneurship, 12 students visited businesses in Cal Bay and the container market to learn more about vendors and see how they operate. The drama and directing students participated in a sword play workshop to prepare for the upcoming Fine Arts Review, which will be held this Friday between 9 and 10 a.m. at the Leicester Center. I encourage all of you to attend. I will be there.
Friday?
Friday. Okay. CHSS girls soccer and CHSS golf. Recently, the girls soccer team lost one game and tied another. In golf, the team came first with Jared McMillan receiving first, Braden Brown second, and Parker Danroth third. Seal Cove Earth Day. There was an unveiling of the beautiful gazebo that the CHSS Interact Club fundraised for, and the CHSS workshop students prepared the beams, the infrastructure. Way to go to CHSS students for this long-lasting contribution to our community.
This was at the Salt Marsh.
Correct. CHSS students are weaving headbands for the June welcoming feast. Very exciting. May 5th was, of course, Red Dress Day. Pre-learning was on display in the multi-purpose room. Students and staff shared in a moment of silence, and the Gitwas drumming group led the students outside to the CHSS track. Classes participated in a walk in memory of the missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and two-spirited people. And I understand that our chair was there and perhaps others from the board.
And sorry,
Go ahead.
every name to date of the book that came out, so I'm sure there's more to add, but every single name was read out and it's shocking. I mean, we know, but then to hear it in that way and to look around at our students and how many names are read out.
And to have the students participate.
They were reading the
it
names.
was really nice too.
You were there as well,
Yeah,
yes.
Earlier this month, Conrad Elementary hosted a lunch and learn in the library. Mona Wall, physiotherapist and inclusive learning specialist, presented on supporting students with developmental coordination disorders. Track and field practices are well underway at all of our schools. At École Roosevelt Park Community School, UBC Okanagan science presentations were held at Prince Rupert Middle School. They planted approximately 720 tomato plants. So in 10 classrooms, they will be harvesting
Oh, that's awesome.
tomatoes. We should probably let, what's your name? know? Nadia propose. Fresh lunch for the kids. Let's talk science program connects the world of science, technology, and innovation with education, bringing STEM to life in meaningful ways that builds diversity and inclusion and awareness of future opportunities. So is that PRMS? Grade 5 students have begun their visits to PRMS to prepare for the transition to middle school. And of course, we talked about that earlier. Ready, Set, Learn sessions for young learners and their families have been happening and are hugely successful. On Friday, I was at Conrad School talking to staff, and I also did a tour of their garden, which is very exciting. Amazing to see how much stuff is growing. And their new garden greenhouse will soon be up and running, so that'll extend the growing season and help protect it from excess moisture in the air, known as rain. Early learning and childcare. Elementary schools are participating play in the kindergarten sessions for the month of May and June to welcome in new students before they start school in September. We've talked a lot about anxiety of students and the growing anxiety that our students are feeling. Programs like this address that, so the kids have pictures in their mind of what they are going into, and they may be young, but it does register. Their minds are able to comprehend this. And so that's what we do to lower that anxiety. Welcome to Kindergarten Elementary Schools will take place during the first week of September as per normal. Lastly, registration is open for the district's summer childcare program for school-age students at Conrad Elementary School. It's being housed at Conrad Elementary School. The district has hired staff and enrollment is currently at 17 students. The program will operate from June 29th to August 14th. Contact Susan Cobsa at 250-627-2108. Because I know there are folks at home who can't make the meeting tonight, who will review the video. So I put the phone number so that they can call Susan and get details. Madam Chair, that is it for this report.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrew.
Wonderful. Secretary Treasurer's report.
Thank
Please.
you.
Thank you.
So item 7.1 is the statement of operations for April 2026, and that is on page 15 of your package. So these are your two regular monthly financial reports. So going to the expenses on that first report, the variances shown here are fairly consistent with what we've been seeing in the prior months. Just a couple of reminders. So the variance in the teachers is mainly due to the 3% wage increase from the labor settlement. So the retro payment for this was paid out to teachers in March. And so that is the main reason why you're seeing the variance there. And the wage settlement increase is not included in the budget figures. And then just another reminder as well, that variance that you're seeing in the education assistance, we will be looking at transferring over that variance at the end of the year to our special purpose funds community link.
Questions?
And
Trustee
then,
Horn? Sorry,
Yep.
I have a question. Trustee Horn?
Thank you, Brittany. The first one is the interest income variance 32,838. Can you give us a little explanation on what's happened there, please?
yeah, so as we mentioned, I think in prior meetings as well, a large portion, or the reason for that interest income, I should say, is due to the funding that we have currently sitting with the ministry. The reason that we are showing that favorable variance is just because for budget purposes, we were on the conservative approach. So we did budget low, assuming that we would be higher than what budgeted is. So that's why you're seeing that favorable variance there.
Yep. I have another follow-up question, Trustee Horn.
And then the principal vice principal variance 7.2%. Can you explain a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, so that is fairly consistent with what we've been seeing in the prior months as well. In summary, the year-to-date budget, or the budget in general, was just a bit off. So that you'll see that variance till the end of the year right now, but it should be cleared up for next year's budget.
And another.
And then the last two, the substitute replacements line, 5.4%, and the services supplies 8.1%.
Yeah, so substitute replacement, so that one varies month to month. Part of that favorable variance would be just because of how the year-to-date budget is calculated. Taking into account there as well that spring break did happen in March, so we wouldn't have seen any substitute teachers in that month, so that would have been a savings there. The year-to-date budget too is just based off of the full year's budget, which is on the far right-hand side, and then taking into account where we are within the year. So it's not a perfect year-to-date calculation just because there's many factors to consider. And then same with services and supplies, a similar explanation. It is hard to predict exactly what the year-to-date budget should be each month, just because those will vary throughout the year. For example, there could be a lot of expenses tend to happen towards the end of the year, May, June. So we could see that variance decrease over the next couple months.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions at the moment? Wonderful. Please continue, Brittany.
Yeah, perfect. So I do always like to just briefly go to that second report. So that second report is your expenditure report by program. I do still like this report because it's just a big picture of where each of the different programs are sitting at. And then I do like to always remind the board. So we are showing here April 30th. So for the 10-month programs, we would expect to receive, just big picture, about 20% of our budget remaining. Oh, sorry, I should mention as a reminder for those that don't know, the percentages are on the far right-hand side of that report. So that is the percentage of the budget that is remaining as of April 30th. And so for the 10-month programs, we would expect to see about 20% remaining at the end of April. And then the 12-month programs, we would expect to see about 17% remaining. And so when you just look at the grand total at the very bottom right-hand corner, we are seeing at 22%. So that is comforting that we are currently sitting at a good position. Again, just to mention though, it is hard to predict what our expenses will look like for the last 2 months of the year.
I'm not seeing any questions. I have a question regarding counseling and what that's going to look like to get us to the end of the year.
Yeah, so that too big picture is a small percentage of our budget. And then that's why I do actually like this report in the sense that it does show a big picture oversight as well. So because we are sitting at 22% remaining, our operating budget as a whole looks to be okay.
So for clarity, that what I'm hearing is that we're able to move things within this budget where we're able to move things.
Yes, the short answer would be yes. We wouldn't actually move the funding because the operating budget is looked at as a whole. So just that line item within the financial report may be off budget, but the overall operating budget would be
The other ways to compensate for that.
Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you. Trustee Beal?
So as I look at number 2 and number 8, would it not make sense if you're saying that you can move it? A counselor is still a teacher in some senses of the word, and I see that we have money in there, because I do get concerned, even though it's only 5,779 right now, we don't know what it could end up to be. So I want to feel comfortable it's going to be moved so that we're not, you know.
And for clarity, what Ms. Versmo just said is that we don't technically move. We're just able to use the budget to ensure that we come out in, not in the red. Yeah, thank you. Please continue.
Perfect. Are there any other questions on item 7.1 before we move on?
Not seeing any.
All right, so we will move on to 7.2, 26-27 annual budget. And I am just going to share my screen.
This one.
And can you see it okay?
Yep.
Perfect. All right, so this is our agenda for today. Items 1 to 4, we will go over very quickly, as most of you are very familiar with these, but we'd like to include them in each of our budget presentations, just as quick reminders to set the foundation of the meeting. Next, we will go over the 26-27 preliminary budget overview and the changes made to it since the last time that this was presented. And then we will go over the effect of this on the accumulated surplus. At the end, we will open it up for any questions, then go over next steps. Oh, sorry, it's lagging a little bit. This is the budget timeline slide that you're familiar with. The top portion is the timeline for the current year 25-26 amended budget, and the bottom portion is the timeline for next year's 26-27 preliminary budget. So today we are going over the 26-27 preliminary budget, which is the bottom portion. And you can see the start here showing that we are near the end of May, and the preliminary budget is due to the Ministry of Education and Childcare by June 30th. This is our annual budget consultation meeting date schedule. On May 4th, we had our second working session with the board, senior staff, IEC, and partner groups. Today is May 19th, and we are hoping to do the first budget bylaw reading tonight and do the second and third readings at our next open board meeting on June 16th. This is our strategic plan priorities slide, which most of you are also very familiar with, so we won't be going over it in detail. Our main priorities are equity with a focus on literacy, numeracy, and completion rates, truth and reconciliation, and mental health literacy. This is our fund accounting slide, listing our 3 different categories of funding: operating funds, special purpose funds, and capital funds. Operating funds are what we are focusing on today. These funds are used to cover expenses related to instruction, school and district admin, operations and maintenance, and transportation. The second category is special purpose funding. This funding is provided by third parties for the sole purpose to carry out the function or activity. Some examples are school generated funds, scholarships, and ministry designated activities. In other words, third parties are giving us funding, but they're telling us how it has to be used. The special purpose fund budget is shown on Schedule 3A of the budget file provided, and we won't be going over these tonight as these are restricted funds. The third category is capital funds. This is funds received for the purpose of acquiring acquiring land, buildings, and major equipment. The capital budget is shown on Schedule 4 of the budget file provided. In saying that, just a reminder that this isn't the capital budget the way that you would think of a capital budget. For example, it doesn't include the middle school replacement project or any of our other capital projects. What this is mainly about booking depreciation on the assets repurchased. It's mainly just an accounting entry that has no impact on our true surplus. And the net expense shown on Schedule 4 is actually drawn from money we put aside of capital equipment and vehicle purchases in prior years. The money is held in a capital equity account to cover future depreciation. So again, on Schedule 4, the surplus or deficits shown here have no impact on our true reserves, and it's strictly an accounting entry. We did also want to point out, though, that we included $60,000 transferred from local capital for the purchase of a maintenance vehicle. So this is our enrollment projection. This slide shows our projection for the next 3 years. As you can see, it is showing a projection of a 44 student decrease next year.
Brittany?
Yes.
Before you go on, I have a couple of things to add. So we know that there's.
Sorry. I meant to pass this on to you before I started. Would you like to speak?
Performance evaluation time, that just hit me, Brittany, there aren't a lot of people here in the audience today, somewhat disappointed with that. But also I see online, we have a few members of the public, but also remember as a board, you brought in the idea of video conferencing, videotaping these things so that people who can't make it can watch and learn and listen and play it back for things like operating funds, special purpose funds, capital funds. We live in that world, the public don't. And so it's good to have it videotaped so that somebody can go through and sort of contemplate it, because it doesn't make sense to us mere mortals that capital fund doesn't mean capital. But I do get the calls about you're building a brand new middle school. Why can't you, put in a swimming pool? You got all that money for a new school. Well, that's a totally different fund. And we can't take from Kevin's budget for fixing up things and put that into, into textbooks in a classroom, because the ministry restricts us. So just so that people who are new to us and who might even be contemplating running as a trustee in the upcoming election, so that they have a bit of a guide. So tonight, Brittany and I did work hard on this on the weekend. We are presenting our proposed school budget for the 26-27 year. And it's a budget that reflects both the realities we face and the priorities we share. This budget is more than numbers on a page. It is a statement of our values, a plan for action, and a commitment to our students. We are operating in a time of increasing pressure. Costs continue to rise in transportation, in staffing, utilities, and student supports, while expectations for our schools continue to grow. Families rely on us not only for strong academic programming, but also for safe, welcoming environments that support student well-being. This budget that we are presenting to you responds to those needs in a focused and responsible way. Our first priority remains clear: student learning and achievement. We have worked to protect classroom supports and maintain the programs that make a meaningful difference for our students. This includes literacy and numeracy programs, Indigenous education, language and culture, inclusive education services, and mental health supports. These are the pillars of your strategic plan. We know that when we invest in these areas, we are investing in better outcomes for all learners. Now, at the same time, we must be realistic about our financial constraints. We have carefully reviewed expenditures across all departments, looking for efficiencies while preserving what matters most. In some areas, this has required very difficult decisions. I want to acknowledge the work of our staff and leadership teams who have approached this process thoughtfully, with a strong focus on minimizing impacts to students. We're continuing to invest in the long-term sustainability of our district physical infrastructure. This includes maintaining our facilities, planning for capital improvements, and ensuring our schools remain safe and functional spaces for learning. Deferred maintenance carries real risks, and we are committed to balancing today's needs with tomorrow's responsibilities. Now back to the operating budget. Transparency and accountability remain central to our work. Since January of this year, we have engaged in face-to-face meetings, partner group meetings, including our unions and principal vice principal groups, and we considered those who provided online submissions. We have engaged in careful planning, used the best information available, and aligned this budget with both ministry requirements and our district strategic goals. To those who will review the video of tonight's discussion later tonight or tomorrow, we are confident that the chair and trustees will continue to provide oversight, and together we will monitor our financial position closely throughout the year. Lastly, I also want to recognize the broader community. Public education is a shared responsibility. We value the ongoing support and input we receive from families, partners, and Indigenous communities. Your advocacy as trustees, your collaboration and trust are essential as we navigate these complex decisions together. In closing, this budget reflects a balanced approach, one that protects learning, supports students, and manages resources responsibly. It is not without challenges, but it is grounded in our commitment to doing what is best for our students in our district. Over to Brittany.
Thank you, Superintendent Samuel. Sorry about that. Thank you for the intro. That should have happened before I jumped right into things. So I will pick up where I left off. So this slide is our enrollment drop impact on the operating grant. This slide shows what the dollar impact on our operating grant is based off of the 44 student decrease projection. And so you can see on the bottom right-hand corner that this results in a funding decrease of $481,000. We've gone over this slide in detail at prior meetings, so we won't be going over it again tonight. We just wanted to include it again here as a reminder and to set foundation as to part of the reason why we are facing financial challenges. We also wanted to note that this is based off of the 1,750 student FTE count, and that these figures will change once we do the final September 30th count. So this is the 26-27 preliminary budget overview slide that we presented in the prior budget meeting. We have been continuously working on the budget as more information becomes available and further discussions are had. We put in blue font the figures that have been updated since the last time that this was presented. I will go over a few items to clarify what has been included in the financial figures presented tonight. So as mentioned at the prior meetings, previously we didn't include the impact of the benefit premium increase in the budget figures presented. We finished the analysis with our benefit provider last week, and we have now included the estimated cost due to the increase in the benefit premiums in the budget figures. These benefit premiums are for extended health and dental, and we don't receive direct funding for these premium increases from the ministry. The second item we wanted to mention again is that the budget figures presented are assuming that we will be receiving funding next year to cover the wage increases related to the labor settlement. And the third item that we wanted to mention is that the staff changes total on the preliminary budget overview has changed from the last time that this was presented. Again, this is because we have been continuously working on the budget as more information becomes available and further discussions are had. The main change here was due to adding one FTE for an employee that is currently on a leave this year, with the position being unfilled, and they will be returning to work next year. So the total estimated operating deficit is now at $795,000, as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Wonderful. Trustee Horn?
Thank you, Brittany. Just on the benefit rate changes, I understand you say that the government does not provide that change that we have in our benefit rate changes. But it doesn't seem right that they have supplied us money for education and yet not supplied us money for the benefits that are required to get teachers to educate our students. So not actually asking you a question, I just want to try to make a statement. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, statements?
No, please continue.
Perfect. So again, on the bottom right-hand corner, we are showing that $795,000 deficit. I just want to bring that to your attention again before I go to the next slide. So this slide shows the prior year 24-25 audited financial statement, note 18, regarding surplus. You can see here that we ended last year with an unrestricted operating surplus of $1.9 million, which is the figure circled in blue. This is our opening balance for the current 25-26 year, which we will show on the next slide.
So just for clarity, that's where we started September 2025 with.
Yes, technically July 1st, 2025, just because our year ended June 30th.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. So you can see here that we start the year off with the 1.9 shown on the prior slide, just as we mentioned, and then we deduct the current year budgeted deficit of $744,000. Again, this is just our current budgeted amount, so we won't know what that looks like until after year end. So this would bring us to a budgeted ending balance at June 30th, 2026 of $1.1 million. With the estimated 26-27 deficit of $795,000, This would bring our remaining unrestricted surplus to $359,000. This is 1.22% of the district's operating budget, which is below our surplus policy of 1.5%. 1.5% of our district's operating budget would be calculated at $442,000, which is a variance of $82,000. And again, these are just draft figures and may change. For example, as I just mentioned, the 25-26 budgeted deficit of $744,000 is just the budget at this point, and we won't know what that looks like until year end. And then also we took a conservative approach to our student FTE operating grant funding for the 26-27 year. And this may change as well when we do our official September 30th count. Do I have any questions on that?
Trustee Beal.
Could you bring back the other slide, please, Brittany?
Yep.
This isn't really something we're going to debate tonight. However, whatever surplus we have, I mean, it's a policy. It was the board who created a policy, not a regulation. So the surplus is the surplus, and whatever the surplus is, I would suggest that we just leave it at the 359,780 transferred into our contingency.
Please.
I'm in agreement with trustee Beal in that clearly we need these funds to be spent in this way so that we can maintain and do better with educating the students within our school district and all the things that we have to do that. Thank you.
I'm going to ask Brittany, is your presentation complete?
It is.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Open for discussion, please.
I'd like to make a motion that we move on to giving first reading to our annual budget.
Seconder for that motion. Trustee Vaughn.
You want to read it, Christie, or do you want me to just read?
I'm looking for it.
I can read it.
It's in this one.
It's a bylaw of the Board of Education of School District number 52, Prince Rupert called the board to adopt the annual budget of the budget for fiscal year 2026-27 pursuant to section 113 of the School Act, RSBC 1996. C412 is amended from time to time. I won't go into details that I will read the amount though. The attached statement showing the estimated revenue and expenses of 2026-27 fiscal year and the total budget bylaw amount of $39,096,337 for 2026-27 fiscal year be prepared in accordance to the act. I would ask that I read it for a first time, the 19th day of May, 2026.
And a seconder, trustee Meyer. Thank you. And all in favor, this is only a first reading. Thank you. So for clarity, I want to share with community that this is first reading. This allows a month for staff the board has been working with this budget, understanding this budget, doing the work every month of what is coming, knowing what needs to happen, knowing what staffing looks like, knowing what we need to do to operate the district. This, the understanding of really the board's role is to talk about what they want to have in contingency. This can change. Reading number 2 can look exactly like reading number 1. New information can come forward and reading number 2 can look different as well. So I just really want that to be understood by community. Because if you are watching, that might look like a process of what just happened. But for the community to know that every single month in this meeting, we share numbers, we talk about budget, we look at what budget looks like. So I just wanted to offer that. So thank you. Thank you, Brittany. 7.3 election bylaw. I will pass that to Trustee Meyer.
I have a friendly amendment to the bylaw,
Sure.
please. It's no longer the Skinny Queen Charlotte Regional District, it's the North Coast Regional District, so that bylaw needs to be amended as such.
Noted. Wonderful. Please. Trustee Meyer?
Sorry, gotta find my place again because I wasn't really going. So the election bylaw is on page 17. And I believe this is just an updated version that came down from the Ministry of Education, correct? Okay, so,
BCSTA.
the BCSTA, sorry. So I am not reading this whole thing, that's pages.
You only
on-
need to read the first paragraph and then the motion to adopt it.
And also we need a motion to
To
read
read
everything
it.
today.
I'll make that motion to give all 3 readings and adoption.
Seconded, Trustee Horn. Thank you. All in favor? Wonderful. So moved.
Perfect. Bylaw number 2025-26-01, trustee elections, Board of Education of School District number 52, Prince Rupert. A bylaw of the Board of Education of School District number 52, Prince Rupert, to establish procedures for the conduct of trustee elections. I keep going this deal.
You read this now, you're just recognizing the trustee electoral areas and then doing first the adoption reading.
You should have been the one reading this. Okay, and so then on page 20 is read for the first time on the 19th day of May 2026.
Seconded.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor? Wonderful.
Read for a second time on the 19th day of May 2026.
Seconded, Trustee Horn. All in favor? Thank you.
And read for a third time and finally passed and adopted on the 19th day of May 2026.
Seconded, Trustee Sanchez. All in favor? Wonderful. So moved. Thank you. I would also offer that anybody that is wanting to run for trustee, please approach, I think, any of us to talk about what that looks like, and we would, I'm sure I can speak for all of us, would love to have people running and a wholesome group, and any questions that you have, please. It's a wonderful way to be connected with public education, and I think to make a great impact, positive impact in your community. We need a motion for a returning officer.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. That's bad. I'd like to make a motion that, I'll make the right motion. I'd like to make a motion that Secretary Treasurer Brittany, first of all, is appointed as the Chief Election Officer. And I'll follow up with the second motion.
Wonderful. Seconder to that motion, Trustee Sanchez, all in favor? So moved. Thank you. Please, Trustee Leo.
I'd like to make a motion that Tamara Dickens be appointed as Deputy Chief Election Officer.
Do you get to say yes or no? Sure. Seconder, Trustee Dalton. Wonderful. All in favor?
You have to have a deputy.
Wonderful. So moved this year.
Thank you, Joanne.
Thank you,
Tamara.
Tamara.
Sorry, I should have run that by, but you have to have a deputy. It's. And Andrew's too busy, so he doesn't want any of this. Oh, sorry, Andrew.
She's not
Take that off
busy.
the-
So this would be, this would have been amended and put into our agenda. So thank you. Wonderful. 7.4. Ms. Versimo.
Thank you. So 7.4 is on page 22 of your package. That is the April 2026 Operations Department report. And I believe Kevin is in the audience to address any questions you may have.
I see him.
I
Wonderful.
just have a couple of questions, because the young lady that was here, Nadina, is that?
Nadine.
No, Nadine.
No, Nadia.
Nadia.
Oh, Nadia, sorry, pardon me. Anyway, I would like to know how much longer before you think the kitchen's gonna be ready?
It has to be working the third week of June. That's my goal.
Oh, well, that's your goal.
Well, we're gonna start catering to year-end lunches. We've got a couple retirements. We wanna do
Okay,
lunches.
and can I ask a second follow-up question? Are we on budget?
No,
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I don't need to know anymore.
we got permission to, use some annual facility grant money to help.
Offset the cost.
Yes.
Thank you, Deb. Well, that's nice. Thank you.
Yes, please, trustee Gorn.
Thank you for that, Kevin. Fact that we have that kitchen up and running is good news. And the fact that the greenhouse foundations got forward again to do with that presentation we had today. So thank you very much for the work your department does.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
Brittany?
We appreciate you. You know that, right? I'm telling you the truth. We appreciate
All right,
you.
please, Brittany.
Item 7.5 on page 23 of your package is the April 2026 Information Technology Department report, and Kinchin is in the audience to address any questions.
Yes, please, trustee Horn.
I'd just like to say thank you to the IT department doing ongoing replacement of our infrastructure to do with IT is such good helping for our teachers and students. And then to follow it up with all the training and stuff you have to do. So thank you very much for the work that IT does.
I just have a quick question. So, fiber optics, when it was cut, do you find that there is a delay in any of the any infrastructure in the school district? Because I do, I'm not just at home, but at my workplace, and I've talked to other people. It doesn't seem like it came back together like it should have. So are we having any intermittent problems at all?
Madam Chair, thank you for that one. So basically from last 3 or 4 years, the Monday was the only day that IT worked freely on that day without any internet. Same as everyone. And on that time, we seems like our technology was working fine without any internet. We did check all the network drive was working fine. Our SDS was working fine on that day, except the Google. So, which is technically great news for the school district.
It's all working.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, you're lucky. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Any further questions? Wonderful.
I just wanted to thank Kinchin and his two helpers there. They're wonderful people. I took my computer in and it was done so quickly.
It's good. Thank
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Please.
you.
Madam Chair, just while we're on technology, because that outage did delay a lot of things in terms of email for us at the board office, and Kinchin has kind of come up with a plan with JIT to have a device such that Kevin had on his boat, which is a tiny satellite dish. The price has dropped way down to very, very cheap. That would provide the district with a backup in case of an emergency like that, where you could still get some email out because Vancouver was still working. It was just us that were down, right? Because
Is that Starlink?
It's yeah, that's brand name.
Mr. Samuel, I just was informed that the ministry most probably will be funding one device. For activity purposes. So Hideaway has just acquired one device. So I'm pursuing with Hideaway to figure out how did they go about applying for a device. So basically it's a satellite device that if our internet does crash, we will still be able to use one device for emergency purposes. So.
And Musk pocket gets deeper.
No, I was there last week. I was supposed to be in Hawaii. It's Starlink.
Yeah.
And yeah, I talked to people, yeah, because Haida Gwaii is pretty remote. We think we're remote. When anything happens on Haida Gwaii, like, it can be scary for people, right? So they have Starlink and
I'll just call the meeting back.
no, but I'm just saying, like, Starlink's what they have.
We
so.
could stop saying the name. Thank you. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, Brittany, for your report.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Finance and Building Committee. There's nothing already, nothing more.
Nothing.
Framework for enhanced student learning.
Coming up soon.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Provincial Council.
What's the date? Yep, nothing to report since the last meeting. We reported them.
Wonderful. Thank you. Trustee Meyer, Policy Committee.
Yeah, so the meeting minutes are on page 24. I would like to make a motion to put policy number 1115, board authorized courses credit out for review.
If
Courses
I could pause,
policy, sorry.
yeah, if I could pause, we were gonna actually bring that to the board for discussion tonight.
Okay, I see.
And then the next two, we're actually bringing them all to discussion. So the first one is that, to see if this really is a policy or if this is more of a regulation. And so I did a bit of research, from other districts, and there are only 4 districts in the province, including ourselves, that even have this. And we're the only one that has it as a policy. The others have it as administration procedure or a regulation. It's really, there's a framework that the course has to fit in, what needs to be covered, the relevant. So really, it is the decision of the board if you want this as policy or if it makes more sense to be regulation. And Trustee Andrew Samuel and then Trustee.
Be my next for trustee. Yeah, correct. And that's the research that I found, the same thing, that basically the Ministry of Education provides in the act that you have the authority to create these courses. Most of the districts have developed quite a process of how do you get a board authorized course going. We generally had a procedure, but this is, I think it can go as a regulation so that we have that control over it, but it's not so much control, it's making sure that it meets the academic standards that are required if it's going to be used in the high school for a graduation course, right? Radio frequency 11, aviation 12, like these are courses that are offered in other communities, but they actually do have a rigor to them to ensure that it's appropriate for graduation.
I see Trustee Beal, did you have your hand up first?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and also, like we talked about in the last meeting, the BCSTA had put together the book of the 20 policies that they would like to see all schools have. We have about triple the amount we're supposed to, and so this one does not fall in those 20 policies.
That's what I like
Beal
to
and then
say.
Trustee Dalton.
This isn't a board policy. I mean, we as a board are not, this is challenging for a board to be able to debate this, right? So I think it's either administration or regulation, but we need to start like cutting some of our policies, not adding to them. So I don't want to even entertain this motion tonight for this policy.
No, for clarity, this is a current policy and we're bringing it forward to have it as
I
a
know, but to
regulation.
delete it, I'm
Yeah.
saying not to delete it, but to delete it, is what I'd like to see.
Trustee Dalton?
I just would like to know if these courses can also be after school hours.
Yeah, thank you, Superintendent Semel. Yes, they can. We do have a series of board authorized classes at the moment. One of them is leadership and it's a 2-credit course. It's not after school, but typically during lunchtime and some after school events that contribute to acquiring the credits for that class.
So is it mostly yes, mostly no?
Not specifically after school, but outside of the timetable. So lunchtime and then sometimes after school.
I don't understand, but after school, isn't it outside of the timetable?
Outside of the timetable, that's correct.
Okay, so then the answer would be yes.
Yes, but not after school hours, but during lunchtime.
I don't understand what you're saying. You just said yes after.
not during regular instructional hours.
So what time does school end?
3:01.
Okay, so can I have something from 3:02 to 3:45?
Yes.
But that's not after our school hour.
That's correct. Yeah, you can have that after school, and you can also have it during lunch hour and sometimes
Then let's
before
drop
school.
lunch hour. I'm just thinking after
Yes.
classes are done at 3:01.
Yes,
You can have courses.
that's right.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Trustee Horn.
Yeah, I don't believe it's the role of the board to determine what these should be. I think it should be our staff that determine, that's what I believe also that this should be. Policy should be removed. Thank you.
Trustee Meyer.
So then if I can make a motion then to reclassify policy 1115 into regulation.
It
or
would have
administration.
regulation already have. It would
Yes,
already have a
It's
regulation.
already in, so we're just
Right.
deleting that.
Yes.
Okay, so then to delete
I'll
policy
second that.
1115.
Wait, all in favor?
Yeah.
Wonderful. So moved. Thank you. Please continue.
Okay, so then the next one that we are recommending to delete is policy 2310, if anybody has any comments.
I'll second that.
Wonderful. All in favor? And this is to delete protection of
Yeah.
student and maintenance of order policy as it is.
I have a
not
question.
Policy,
before we
please.
do it. Just because of what it says in its title, the protection of students, so rather than just delete it without making a comment,
Mhm.
I just want to
Go on the
say
record.
that it's not again the board's role to do this kind of thing, but the staff's role to do it. So I believe the staff's quite capable of doing this and the board does not need to be involved.
Wonderful. Thank you. So there is a motion on the floor to delete this policy. All in favor? Wonderful. So moved. Thank you. Please.
Okay, and then another motion to delete policy 3410, security and protection of buildings policy.
Trustee Horn.
I'll
Second.
second the motion.
Thank you. Would you like to speak to this? Yes, thank you.
Indeed. Again, as the policy states, protection of buildings and security. Not something the board needs to be doing, running around protecting buildings. I believe the staff is quite capable of doing that. And that's, just want to make that mention
Thank
before
you.
we delete it.
Anyone else care to speak to this? Wonderful. And of course, these policies matter to the board, like for security and protection matters. However, it's not a policy. Wonderful, thanks. All in favor? Wonderful, so moved.
And then the last one is to make a motion to delete policy 3420, video surveillance policy.
Again, open for discussion as this was when we spoke at the meeting, that this was, we believe not policy, however, really needed to have a discussion. I had trustee Horn and then trustee Beal.
Second the motion.
Thank you. Would you care to speak to this motion, trustee Beal?
I
Were you
actually
seconding?
would like to discuss this because this is a regulation and it's a regulation through a government in just in different venues. So it's not like we do not care about any of these policies, but they aren't policies and they shouldn't be dictated by board of trustees. So I'm in favor of deleting it.
And also, as noted, this policy refers to FOIPA, which a policy wouldn't do. It already has its regulations. All in favor? Wonderful, thank you. 4 more policies gone. 8.5. Trustee Horn.
Technology steering committee has not sat. I believe we'll sit next month.
Wonderful, thank you. And also for clarity as well that we spoke about, that we keep these on as these are committees that trustees have been assigned to. Doesn't necessarily mean that the committee would meet monthly. It's not that you're not meeting. It is a committee that a trustee has been assigned to, that when they do meet, trustee will be present for clarity as well. Whole business?
No.
Thank you. Information items. It is coming to the end of the year. Commencement is happening, the grad class of 2026. Incredible. Commencement will happen on June 12th. The Board of Education, our meeting will be on June 16th. We have PCS commencement, June 18th. National Indigenous Peoples Day, June 21st. The last day of school for this school year is June 25th. Administration Day, June 26th. And after a beautiful, sunny, wonderful summer, first day of school is September 8th. Also, it is an election year. Please, if you are considering running for trustee, connect with any of us. We would love, I'm sure, to share with you. 10 minutes of question and answer period, please. Terry Lynn.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a question for the superintendent, if I may.
You may, as long as it is connected to our agenda this evening.
It is indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Superintendent Samuel, thank you very much for providing the budget report and the overview. And I appreciate that you took the time to kind of clarify some of the items that were in there. I know in previous years, it's really daunting, and especially if you have newcomers in your audience that may not necessarily know some of the specific areas that you're looking at. For budget constraints and that kind of thing. So I appreciate that you were overall pretty well in depth. It's no surprise that we continue to see declining enrollment. As a former 3-term trustee, I recall the board of the day being apprised of this trend several years ago in regards to the declining enrollment. And it's concerning to see that it continues. And it's certainly daunting to anticipate further reductions in enrollment in the years ahead. I appreciate the thoroughness of this report and the planning required to address these ongoing challenges. So my question to you through the chair would be, and you had indicated that you had met with several of the partner groups and other community members. I'm just wondering if you had met recently with the City of Prince Rupert to discuss economic opportunities and other initiatives that could help attract more families to our beautiful community. Strengthening our community and encouraging growth could in turn help to stabilize and increase student enrollment over the time. And I'd like to thank you again for your work and for your continued leadership, and to the board as well. Thank you.
Great, Madam Chair and Terry Lynn. Yeah, I in the last few months, I met with, he used to teach at the high school. He's a counselor.
Oh yeah, Nick 80.
Nick 80. Nick and I have talked a number of times about, certainly Nick was talking about recruiting doctors, and I'll try not to be long-winded, but we were talking about recruiting doctors and how the school board can help in that by providing information on our schools and our programs, so that when they are talking to doctors, that they can say, you know, we have these programs. That's one. The other one that comes to mind very quickly is we had been working with the city's librarian. I believe she's on maternity leave right now, but we started talking to her about the when the middle school is open. The middle school is going to be a community school in whichever form it takes. And what we're looking at is that the city library, in our proposal, the city library would come in, say at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, when our teacher librarians their day is perhaps concluding, that the city librarians would come into the library so that the public could come in and borrow resources. We have huge internet pipes. It doesn't make sense that, you know, 3:10, the kids are gone. Some staff are using it, but our internet is huge. So why can't the public come in and use it to surf the internet, to do research on homework, et cetera, et cetera. So those are some of the things that we're doing with the city.
Right. And to add to that, we've met quite a lot with the city, with the buildings that are happening, and that there's been a lot of work done with planning the new build and making areas available to community while keeping areas not available to community. So that definitely was in consideration with the design of that build as well.
Thank you very much.
Any further questions? Going once? Twice? Thank you all for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful, sunny night and maybe a walk. Take good care. See you in our June meeting. Thank you.